Content warning. On this podcast, we discuss sensitive issues, including but not limited to swearing, tasteless jokes, situations of a sexual nature, and drug use. This podcast is not intended for children. Hello, and welcome to BiblioWrecks, the podcast where we read terrible, terrible books and tell you all about it. I'm Bugs.
And I'm Bam Bam, and today we're going to hell.
Yay!
Yeah. 1800s hell, actually.
Yay?
Yeah.
Is that worse than modern hell?
Yeah, probably. I mean, at least in modern hell you have cell phones. It's all ads, but you got a cell phone.
I don't know if that's better.
Today I'm doing Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy.
You have been teasing this book to me for years now?
Yeah, at least 2 years.
And then bringing the book over, saying, here, read this shit. I'm completely baffled. And then you say, no, you don't understand how bad this is. And I'm like, yeah, because you showed me a paragraph.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's really hard to... That's kind of the thing I've been struggling with and why I've been going on about it for a couple of years. It's really hard to describe.
Which... that's the entire point of our episode, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think I've managed to, after attempting and failing a couple of times over the past 2 years, I think I finally got something coherent.
And you have practiced on other books. The other books were only practiced to get to this point.
That's true. I did find this one pretty early on. I think probably maybe after we had done 10 episodes or something.
Remember you were saying this would be a bibliotomy because it was really good and bad?
Yeah.
And then you finally came down on, no, this is a BiblioWrecks.
Yeah.
This is awful. I hate this.
It's still, I kind of have that dichotomy in my mind, but it definitely falls on the side of being a wreck to me. I think just the overall badness of it. But there are some redeeming qualities. I don't think they're enough to redeem the book entirely, but
okay. And this is going to be probably a two-parter.
Yeah, most likely.
So we will be in it with you for a long, long time, folks.
Today's trigger warnings include cruelty to animals, racism, murder, mutilation, and rape of adults and children.
Ay.
And an unrelenting wave of philosophical bullshit.
Yes.
Regardless of age, get a parent's permission and a letter of recommendation from a healthcare professional before continuing this episode.
Wait, I don't have my mom's permission. No. She moved across the country and I don't know where she is. No.
Yeah, I have a few main problems with this book, but I also have some issues with a few elements directly outside of it, mainly dealing with the author and the book's fan base.
So your problem is more the author and the people who enjoy this than the book itself?
No, not more. That's just some ancillary problems around my main problems.
Mm-hmm. You hate this book and you hate everyone who reads this book and you hate the guy who wrote the book.
Yeah, kind of. It seems like everyone directly attached to this book just kind of suck.
Oh, I see.
This book is a famous anti-Western. So think of a generic John Wayne movie. The manly hero adventures into the West for some heroic purpose or other.
Right.
And he manages to shoot his way out of every scuffle and kill every bad guy until he comes out the other end a hero before riding off into the sunset.
Yes.
This story takes that trope, shoves its face into the sand, and kicks it to death just for the fun of it.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the concept.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that either. In general, that's generally one thing I like about this book.
Oh, okay.
Is that it came out in the 80s, and it was definitely kind of a response to that
all the John Wayne worship of the West and the stupid idea that cowboys were white?
Yeah, and this is some hyper-realism.
Okay. Yeah, the Cowboys and Indians fight wasn't all one-sided where the Cowboys, whoop the butt of the Indians and we all cheer. This is actually scalping and murdering on both sides here.
Yeah, it's definitely got some of that to it, but this is definitely going over a lot more of the genocide aspects of Native American relations.
Because, I mean, they were fighting with each other before.
Oh, yeah.
White
Yeah,
people
there was a
came
lot of
in
that.
and-
But in this world, everyone hates you and is trying to screw you over or make a profit at your expense.
Well, hey, that's real life, too.
Yeah, no, it's hyper-realistic. I'll give it that.
Oh, okay.
There are no heroes, never have been heroes, and there never will be heroes.
Oh, this is kind of like Stephen King. You know how his has that feeling of
Oh, yeah, like everyone's just kind of fucked up.
Yeah, there's no good people. There's nothing good. Nothing good will ever happen. And it's just goddamn depressing.
Yeah.
So it's a Stephen King Western.
Kind of. It's definitely not that. Like, imagine if Stephen King was kind of a philosophy douchebag and was into Westerns. That's what this is.
Oh, boy. Because, you know, my reason I couldn't read Stephen King wasn't the horror. It was that his outlook on the world was so grim.
Yeah. Well, this one's definitely grim. So, first, it's probably best to describe the structure of the book. We are told the story in third person. This is a neutral voice that gives no judgment. It simply factually reports what is happening in the scene.
Okay.
Second, this book has an incredibly difficult and obscure vocabulary.
Okay.
It uses words that have many easy-to-understand common use synonyms and phrases that convey the information like much easier without losing anything.
But he chose the longer, more complicated words on purpose.
And I think that's partly for style, like just for the style of this kind of storytelling, but also because he's kind of a douchebag.
Right.
In my opinion. Words like Stone or Naker or supernumeraries.
Are you going to go through and give us the dictionary definitions?
I've got the definitions of those particular ones.
Okay.
Stone is a mythical first stone. I'm sure that's a reference from something, but I couldn't find it. Naker is just mother of pearl.
Oh.
Yeah. I never would have guessed it either.
I would not have guessed that.
And it's equally easy just to say mother of pearl.
Right.
Supernumeraries, you want to try to guess that one?
Is it supernumerary?
Mm-hmm.
So it's above something that has to do with numbers.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's pretty much the definition.
I know I knew the definition at one point in time when I was younger and smarter.
Present in excess of the normal or requisite number.
Okay, you need 5 donuts and you have 100.
Yeah.
You have way more than you need. Gotcha.
So, like, he uses all of these words correctly.
Well, yeah, of course.
But
he's an elitist douche. Yeah, that's what you've been telling me.
That's kind of my problem is that, you know, he's using words like this just to exclude people who don't know what they are. Like, this book goes out of its way to make itself hard to read.
So the people who read it feel superior too?
Yeah.
Is that part of your beef with them?
A little bit. Because I hate snobs.
Right.
Third thing, I can give the outline of the story in a simple, short sentence.
Okay.
We follow a gang of mercenaries as they travel through Mexico and the West as they murder human beings for money until eventually they all die. Along the way, we philosophize murder and war. And that's the broad span of the story, really.
Okay.
So we begin.
Yes.
Chapter 1 is spent introducing our sort of protagonist, the kid. The story will jump from a singular focus on the kid, who remains unnamed for the entire story. He's always just referred to as the kid.
That's annoying.
Until he gets older, and then he's the man.
What?
That's way at the end, so.
Okay.
And it will switch from that view to a broad view on a whole group intermittently. It's about, I would say, half and half split between just following the kid and following the group that he's in.
Okay.
And like the kid just kind of disappears and is just in the background for big chunks. The kid is born in Tennessee, and though he's the son of a schoolmaster and scholar, he is totally illiterate and uneducated.
Well, that's a shame.
He's never known his mother.
Is that the cobbler's shoes are cobbler's kids are barefoot and pastor's kids are hellions?
Yeah, kind of. But it's mostly because his dad is neglectful.
Well, yeah, so are the cobblers and pastors.
Yeah, I guess that's true. He's never known his mother's name because his father has never said it.
Oh.
And he's pale and unwashed. Quote, he can neither read nor write, and in him broods already a taste for mindless violence. All history present in that visage, the child, the father of the man. Yeah, already you can kind of see that it's kind of written a little weirdly.
Well, and I also get the feeling that this guy is a nurture, not really nature guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, no. I mean, in that particular sentence, you could get a little bit of both. I think as far his nature aspect in that sentence that he's going by is that he's just got this natural violence to him.
But he's also uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
So if he had been nurtured and educated, he wouldn't be violent.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's nurture, not nature.
I think it's just an example of both in one sentence. That's why this book is hard. That was the first sentence.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's already left up to interpretation.
Okay.
So we have a neglected child who the only thing we know about him is that he's got a penchant for violence at a young age. He runs away at 14. We time jump a year. Now he's on a flatboat headed for New Orleans. He spends his nights fighting with other men. Quote, men from lands so far and queer that standing over them where they lie bleeding in the mud, he feels mankind itself vindicated. Kind of weird.
Are we doing a reverse Huckleberry Finn?
I don't know. I've never read Huck Finn.
Okay. Because it's really feeling like the beginning of Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah, if it's Huckleberry Finn, it's the very, very violent version with
So
a
I'm
lot
saying
more racism.
A reverse Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Then one night he gets shot in the back and is nursed back to health by a tavern keeper's wife.
Oh, okay.
Then he ducks out because he doesn't have any money to pay her with.
Oh.
He takes a boat to Texas, and from there he starts taking on odd jobs. He works at a sawmill, works at a diphtheria pest house.
A diphtheria what?
Pest house.
What does that mean?
No fucking idea.
A diphtheria pest house.
I know I Googled it at one point because I
didn't bring my phone. I know diphtheria is a disease, and I'm pretty sure you get it through water.
Yeah. He might have just been working as like a helper or a nurse in somewhere where a lot of people had diphtheria.
Okay.
I can Google that really quick. This is also a good example of how I spent a lot of the time reading this book because it would bring up some obscure term or something like that. And I'd be like, what the fuck does that mean?
And like, I've read a lot of literature from the 1800s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a quarantine building.
Okay. But I don't even think they would call it diphtheria commonly then. Okay. Anyways, moving on.
But he does some work for a farmer, and as payment, takes a mule. He rides the mule away into a town called Nacogdoches.
Okay. This is in Texas?
Yeah.
All right.
In the town, it's been raining for weeks, and everyone is hanging out in a revival tent because it's the 1840s, and that's the closest thing to entertainment they have.
Yep.
A Reverend Green is preaching. Quote, neighbors, said the Reverend, he couldn't stay out of these here hell holes right here in Nacogdoches. I said to him, you going to take the Son of God in there with ye? So this is a good time to bring up the author's weird writing style. Mm-hmm. It's bare bones as far as punctuation goes.
He doesn't use quotation marks,
He doesn't use quotation marks. So you can't just look at the page and tell which parts are dialogue and which parts aren't.
Does it have he says to let you know? Like, how do you know when a person starts talking?
When it sounds like it's dialogue.
Oh my God.
A lot of times he does say he says, she says, or whatever.
Okay.
But sometimes he also doesn't.
It's not broken up into paragraphs like dialogue either.
Sometimes he will just start dialogue in the middle of a paragraph.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know.
I
do know.
Okay.
It's not an oversight. It's on purpose.
Right.
The author said in one interview that all those little marks just cluttered up the page. He just doesn't like
too
them.
good for English, are ya?
Yeah, pretty much.
Too good for punctuation, are ya?
But the writing as it is here and in a good portion of the book is strong enough to imply which parts are being spoken and when they're being spoken by a certain person.
Okay.
But it does just make it unnecessarily difficult if you would just use punctuation so that I knew what exactly was happening.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So it does make it really confusing sometimes and kind of ambiguous because for the most part it's just periods and not occasional enough commas.
Wow.
So back in the tent, an enormous man walks in. He is something like 7 foot tall, 350 pounds, and completely hairless.
Oh.
Later, we find out this character's name is the judge. He comes in and calls out the Reverend as a fraud, says he's not a real preacher, he can't read, he's a child molester, and someone in Fort Smith called him fucking a goat.
Oh.
Then someone in the crowd says, "Why, damn my eyes if I don't shoot the son of a bitch." And then he does. And then chaos just breaks out in the tent.
Right, because anyone could walk up to anyone else and just accuse them of being a bad person, and then they would just get murdered for any reason.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened here.
That's not how justice works.
Yeah. But the kid cuts his way out of the tent and goes to the bar. Somehow the judge has already beaten him to the bar, so apparently he didn't stay for the fighting at all. He just started that shit and left.
Threw a lit match into a fireworks box and just ran away.
Yeah. When he gets to the bar, he hears some people talking to the judge. One man asks how the judge got the goods on that no account.
Mm-hmm.
Goods? The judge replies. When was you in Fort Smith? Fort Smith? Where did you know him to get all that stuff on him? You mean the Reverend Green? I was never in Fort Smith in my life. Doubt that he was.
He just lied?
Yep. Where was it you run up on him? I never laid eyes on the man before today. Never even heard of him.
He just admits that in a bar?
Mm-hmm. And just for the nature of how this world is, everything gets real quiet and then someone starts laughing. And then they're all laughing. And then people start buying the judge drinks.
Huh.
So
when you say this world, it feels like this is a fantasy world that's not based in reality.
Yeah, it is fanciful how ugly this world is.
Okay.
Because that's just like cartoonishly evil.
Yeah, that...
And all the people are just like, oh, okay, you just did that for fun.
That's Boris and Natasha level scheming and then gloating.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I don't know who Boris and Natasha are. Is that like a cartoon?
The Russians in Rocky and Bullwinkle.
God, you were raised in like the 20s.
We're in the 20s. I'm not 100 years old.
Yeah, that's true. That reference was 100 years.
Was not.
I don't know.
And Natasha.
I don't know when Rocky and Bullwinkle were a thing.
If you understood that reference, send me an email and tell Bam Bam he's an uncultured rogue. Seriously, you never watched Rocky and Bullwinkle?
No.
Oh my God.
Why would I? I watch TV from this century.
No, they were both from the previous century when we were both children. Because we were in the previous millennia.
Fine, I watch stuff from the past 2 decades.
Fair.
So the next day, the kid is headed toward the Jakes, and the Jakes is just a outshed that people use as a bathroom.
Okay, yeah.
And it's just a big shed that people just go and poop on the ground.
Yeah.
And it's been raining for literal weeks, so people had set out planks for everyone to walk on.
Right.
On top of the mud. But as he's walking down, someone else is walking up.
Mm-hmm.
Neither man will give way, so they pull their knives to kill each other.
I got a shit. No, you don't. You're in my way. Stab.
I'm not stepping off into the mud for you. I'd rather stab you.
Wow.
So
okay, no, Stephen King was more creative and interesting than this. This is insane.
Yeah, this is either excellent characterization or really stupid or both.
Yeah.
One could interpret this as the kid and this man care so little about their own lives that they would rather fight to the death as much as move out of each other's way. Or this is just how men or people are when they're left to their own natural devices.
Without women folk to civilize them.
Yeah, pretty much. There are basically no women in this story. They're very, very few. So this is just how men specifically are, I think. So they try to cut each other to death until someone walks over with a club and knocks them both out.
Yeah, they had it coming.
Yeah. They both wake up and decide not to continue trying to kill each other.
Well, there's no wood plank in the way.
Yeah, they're already covered in mud, so there's nothing to gain now. Instead, the other man, whose name is Toadvine.
The one with the club?
No, the other one, the one that was walking up from the Jakes. Club guy he hit those guys and he left. We don't even know who it is.
So that we're following the kid, and now this other kid he almost stabbed, whose name is Toadvine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Strange name. And Toadvine's a really horrible character. He's got like a brand on his face that says horse thief or means horse thief. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, the kid just follows Toadvine to the nearby Dram House, which is another word for a bar.
Yep.
Toadvine starts looking for someone named Sydney. The kid is just going along with it, but he's just like, yeah, I need to find this guy named Sydney. And they go up to a room above the bar and start throwing matches under a door, presumably Sydney's door.
Okay.
Until it lights on fire.
Which is what wood does when you have fire present, yes.
Mm-hmm. Then Sydney burst out of the door in his underwear, and they beat him to death, just like kick him to death.
Why?
Toadvine is just a violent dude, and people just love killing shit.
Okay.
And on their way out, they also knock out the barkeep as the building is engulfed in flames. So they killed 2 people.
They kill 2 people, plus whoever gets stuck in the building that's on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
So they both flee and split ways. As he's leaving, unbeknownst to the kid, the judge watches him as he leaves town.
Well, the judge obviously ain't a real judge. He just likes to mess
he's
people's
just
lives
judging.
up. He just judges people.
Chapter 2. The chapter begins, now comes days of begging, days of theft. So the kid's alone in the wilderness. The only thing the text says about this is he keeps off the king's road for fear of citizenry. And, presumably he's avoiding attention for his involvement in burning down that bar. And that's one thing I do like and don't like about this book. A lot of other books, you kind of get the sense of being spoon-fed information like over and over again.
Right.
And other books might have said explicitly why he stayed in the wilderness, and just reiterating stuff that we already know if you're actually reading.
But he just says it once and he's done telling you.
Yeah. This book expects you to be paying attention, and if you miss something, that's on you, which I'm broadly fine with.
Right.
At the same time, though, there are parts that are deliberately vague, and it doesn't matter if you're paying attention or not. It demands your full attention and only rewards it sometimes.
Gotcha. Gives vague directions. You did this wrong. Well, I did what you said. No, not how I wanted you to do.
Yeah. The feeling I get a lot of the time is this story is just sitting in the corner whispering to itself and then getting mad at me for not hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
So the kid, wandering in the desert, finds a hermit during a sandstorm. The hermit invites him into the hovel, his little hovel for the night. They eat some molded prairie rabbit, because that's all there is to eat. And the hermit takes the opportunity to say some crazy shit.
Okay.
Quote, "There is 4 things that can destroy the earth," he said. "Women, whiskey, money, and black people." Doesn't say black people. And while he's saying these things, he's showing the kid a dried out slave's heart that costed him $200. So
that's insane.
Yeah, it is pretty weird. Quote, "God made this world, but he didn't make it to suit everybody, did he? I didn't believe he had me much in mind," says the kid. "But where does a man come by his notions? What world's he seen that he liked better? A man's at odds to know his mind, 'cause his mind is aught he has to know it with. He can know his heart, but he don't want to. It ain't the heart of a creature that is bound in the way that God has set for it. You can find meanness in the least of creatures, but when God made man, the devil was at his elbow. A creature that can do anything, make a machine, and a machine to make the machine, and evil that can run itself 1,000 years, no need to tend it."
Okay.
So a lot of dense stuff going on. But this is actually a forecast for what happens later on in the story. And this is also where it starts dealing with kind of the God question, I guess. Like, if there is a God, maybe he doesn't care, is where it kind of starts here.
Like the question of evil kind of thing?
Well, yeah, kind of. Because I get the feeling that the story believes in a god, it just thinks it's totally apathetic to humanity.
Oh.
Is kind of the sense I get. So they go to sleep, and in the middle of the night, the kid wakes up with the hermit laying like nearly in his bed with him.
Oh, yeah.
And just looking at him. Ooh. So the kid asks him, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
And the hermit just crawls back over to his side. And when the kid wakes up in the morning, he's gone.
Ooh.
So the kid just leaves. It is a recurring fact throughout the story that the kid occasionally attracts people because he left home at 15 or at 14. Mm-hmm. It's been a year. He's 15 now. And there are very few women in the story.
So the implication is they're willing to bug him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the story, it compares him, says that people would mistake him for a male whore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because he's like pretty or something?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Kid makes it to a town called Bexar and tries to get a drink in a bar with no money. The people in the bar are all Mexican. The kid doesn't speak Spanish. He offers to sweep the bar for a drink by making sweeping motions. In Spanish, the bartender says the bar doesn't need any sweeping. The kid gets frustrated and just starts sweeping the bar anyway. He puts the broom back, waits for his drink. The barman just says, "Ándale," and chews him off. Mm-hmm. The kid goes for him. The barman pulls a pistol, and the kid busts him over the head with a bottle of liquor.
Oh, my goodness.
And then he steals another bottle and then leaves. All the Spanish-speaking parts are all written in Spanish and aren't translated.
Oh, my gosh.
And one of my favorite fun facts about this book is that Cormac McCarthy learned Spanish in order to do research for this book, because the story is loosely based on historical events. And a lot of those events happened in Mexico, so any records that would have been kept would have been written in Spanish.
Right.
And his use of Spanish here is kind of neat. On my first read, it kind of put me in the headspace of the kid.
Because you didn't know what was going on
either. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Now, on the next read, thanks to the advent of Google, I can translate it right over, and it makes good sense how other people acted in this scene.
Right.
So it works either way. Whether you know Spanish or not, it does work. But there are functionally big chunks of the story I just can't read.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah. But McCarthy was also an advocate for Americans learning Spanish.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think there was one quote he said, "It seems silly for us not to be able to speak with one of our nearest neighbors."
Yes.
So, yeah, probably I can agree with that.
That's true.
So the kid wakes up after tying on a drunk in an abandoned ruined church. Images of saints shot up by American soldiers and several corpses, including a child. The kid seems neutral to all of this and just continues drinking whiskey and leaves.
There's dead bodies in the church?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he's just hanging out there?
Yeah, I guess he just wandered in there after he got drunk.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like an active church. It's like I guess like a ruined building.
Right, but there's currently dead bodies in it?
Yeah.
And he doesn't care about that.
Yeah, he seems apathetic to generally the fates of other people.
Gracious.
And this is a continual theme. Generally, when there's a church, it's accompanied by some kind of horrific imagery.
Oh.
It's generally accepted by most readers that this is symbolic of the book's nihilism.
Right.
In this world, there seems to be no God, and if there is one, he doesn't care.
Okay.
Chapter 3. I'm skipping a lot of stuff in this chapter for the sake of brevity. The kid gets invited to join a small militia group under Captain White, with a plan to take over Mexico, even though the Mexican-American War was already over at this point.
Oh, yeah.
The kid joins for the new horse and the provisions he's promised. Captain White feigns concern that the Mexicans can't govern themselves, but also in another sentence will denigrate them as not worthy of governing themselves. So he's just a racist military pirate.
Yeah.
Now we get into chapter 4. They travel into Mexico, and I want to read one of my favorite descriptions of the landscapes.
Okay.
Because that is one thing he does excellently, but also ad nauseum.
Ooh.
They rode on, and the sun in the east flushed pale streaks of light, and then a deeper run of color like blood seeping up in sudden reaches, flaring planewise, and where the earth drained up into the sky at the edge of creation, the top of the sun rose out of nothing like the head of a great red phallus until it cleared the unseen rim and sat squat and pulsing and malevolent behind them.
You just wanted to read that because it said phallus.
I do think it's funny that the sun is just described as a big red dick.
Yes, that is very funny.
But you do get the sense of, like, this is written by someone who has been tormented, just sitting in the sun for hours and just feels like the sun fucking hates him.
Yep.
But yeah, this section does drag on, simulating the dreadful travel that they're doing.
Right.
People are constantly dying of things, just catching random diseases because it's the 1800s. And
yeah, everyone died of everything.
Yeah. So by the time they get there, where they're trying to go, they've already lost probably like a fifth of the people that started traveling with them.
Yeah.
But besides that, everyone is just bored and uncomfortable. Quote, the survivors lay quietly in that cratered void and watched the white-hot stars go rifling down the dark, or slept with their alien hearts beating in the sand like pilgrims exhausted upon the face of the planet Anareta. Any idea what an Anareta is?
No.
Neither did I. Anareta is a reference to ancient Greek astrology.
Oh.
Derived from the House of Death.
Huh.
So another weird forecast.
Okay.
A really obscure forecast. I don't know how people back in the 80s would have read this and understood any of these references.
You have to sit in a library with a librarian.
Mm-hmm. And you'd have to have a dictionary and a complete volume of encyclopedias.
Yep.
Like, I was sitting here reading this thing with Google open the entire time, and I still got fucking exhausted reading this fucker.
Yeah, because Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is dense. And it took me a long time to decide which parts were important to bring up.
Right, because it's like, if every single sentence is a reference to something else, that's just exhausting.
Yeah, it's just a horrible, horrible onion of story. So then they see something in the distance. An army of Native Americans and Mexicans, because they're in Mexico now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read something here, and I want to see if it rings any bells for you. Just one sentence.
Okay.
One sentence.
Oh, dear.
I'm probably going to have to cut it out in editing because it's way too long.
Okay.
But I'm going to read it full for you.
Okay.
And I'll probably make a joke. I'll probably make a 2 hours later joke.
Okay. Okay.
A legion of horribles, hundreds in number, half naked or clad in costumes Attic or biblical, or wardrobed out of fevered dream, with the skins of animals and silk finery, and pieces of uniform still tracked with the blood of prior owners. 2 minutes later. All howling in a barbarous tongue, and riding down upon like a horde from hell, more horrible yet than the brimstone land of Christian reckoning, screeching and yammering and clothed in smoke like those vaporous beings in regions beyond right knowing, where the eye wanders and the lip jerks and drools.
Yeah, I would keep the first 10 seconds of that, and then...
I like the last 5.
Because it's just describing how these people are dressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that wasn't a run-on sentence. That was a marathon sentence.
Yeah.
So you may have noticed the repeated ands, for instance, and...
Are there commas in that?
There are commas.
Okay.
But does it sound, like, just the way it's written, does it sound familiar at all to you?
It sounds like a Dr. Bronner soap bottle.
Not what I thought you were going to say.
That is the cadence I give to Dr. Bronner when I read his soap bottles.
Well, this was the best example I could find of use of Old Testament biblical cadence.
No.
Really?
I don't.
You don't think so?
No.
Just with the...
You didn't read it the way a pastor would read Old Testament.
Well, I'm not a pastor, so...
You didn't read it. Here, let me see.
Yeah, so that one.
Oh, dear God, that's the sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one sentence.
See, it's because each section is only a few... Yeah, it's just not... A legion of horribles, horrible in number, hundreds of hyphen...
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. If there was someone who could read like that, that isn't me, it would come off sounding more biblical.
Possibly.
It's not the perfect example. Like, it's just written that way throughout the entire story. That was just one example I could find. And I'm also truncating it with another one long-ass sentence joke.
Honestly, the Bible doesn't give descriptions of what anything looks like unless it's in the temple.
Yeah. It's more just about the cadence of the words rather than the words themselves.
Interesting. Well, it sounds terrible to read.
Yeah, it is fucking awful to read. It's the thing.
So the people who enjoy it are like, nah, I like this terrible thing. You're a little weirdo.
Yeah, kind of. Like, you're just not smart enough to get it.
Yeah.
He tries to do this biblical cadence because he's trying to impart gravity to certain scenes, especially.
It sounds more cartoonish to me because the people are dressed so silly.
I mean, I think it's to some degree historical because, you know, for a raiding party, they would just pick up whatever kind of clothes that they would have because that's just clothes you don't have to make.
Well, yeah.
So.
But it sounds like children raiding, you know, a dress-up box. It just doesn't sound particularly
frightening. Yeah.
I know that's what he's going for.
Yeah.
I just don't think the effect is quite there.
Yeah. Gravity is warranted for this because Captain White and his army get slaughtered in another nonstop flow of run-on sentence.
Oh, Lord.
Which I'm not going to read.
Thank goodness.
But people are getting skewered and scalped and neutered. On a first read, I thought this is horrible that the Native American characters are being presented this way and referred to as savages over and over again. And I still stand by that to some degree.
Right.
But the worst things that are done in this book are not done by the Native American people.
Because both sides did lots of very, very bad things.
Yeah,
One had a lot more power and a lot more weapons.
And I think that it does give an accurate depiction of that.
Right.
Because it's basically just going to describe a genocide throughout this entire book.
Okay.
Chapter 5 consists of the kid, after surviving this horrific battle, hiding among the corpses and finding a man that is also still alive who is dying of infection and tuberculosis.
Ooh.
Them crossing the desert and following in the wake of this Native American war party. Entire towns are slaughtered that they come across, another church full of dead people, and a tree of dead babies.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring up the quote.
Yeah.
There's one instance where the other man gets attacked by a bat. Afterward, he's just gibbering hysterically, and the kid's only remark is, "I know you're kind," he said. "What's wrong with you is wrong all the way through you." And I don't...
Does he mean the guy's, like, insane?
No, I think he's saying that he's a coward. Like, what's wrong with him is that he's a coward.
Because he's scared of a bat?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's having, like, a hysterical fit after being attacked by this bat.
Huh.
But when I first read this, I didn't know what exactly was happening because, again, it starts dialogue right in the middle of the paragraph, and there are two fucking he's here.
Right.
And based only on context of the only way it would make sense is how I infer that the kid is saying this. So a lot of the times it just feels like the book is just hard to read, just functionally. They barely survive the desert until finally they hitch a ride / hijack a Mexican family with a wagon. They kind of just sit in the wagon and they take them back to their house. But on the way, they just fell asleep. Or at least the kid did. The other guy just dies of gangrene on the way over. And the kid wakes up the next morning and sees that he's dead. And he also sees that the Mexican army is there. Someone called the Mexican army overnight. They arrest him and take him to Chihuahua City.
Yep.
Once there, an angry mob rushes the kid to make sure he gets a good look at Captain White's head in a jar.
Do they know that he was part of this army?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it would be a safe presumption to make because it's just a bunch of white people that don't belong there and probably relatively near where this battle happened. Like, I would say they probably couldn't have traveled more than...
Okay, so it's obvious that these were the last surviving people from this army. Gotcha, okay.
Chapter 6 begins with this, quote, "With daylight, men rose from the hay and crouched on their haunches and regarded the new arrival without curiosity. They were half naked, and they sucked their teeth and snuffled and stirred and picked at themselves like apes." And this is one of the multitudes of times that the story refers to the people in the stories as apes.
Mm-hmm.
And while that is factually true, humans are just apes.
Right.
I think it is a reinforcement of a larger theme in the story. It seems to me in the story, this world, that there is no God, all the churches are decayed and destroyed, and if there is no God, what makes man better than any other creature?
Right.
And in a big way, this seems to be the author's exploration of what humanity is if there isn't a touch of divinity, is what I get from it. The kid and a bunch of other men are in this prison, and Toadvine is also in prison with them for, I think, an unrelated charge.
Oh.
Yeah. It seems like he just goes around places and commits crimes and then just goes to a new place. Because later he can't go to where the kid is going because he's already got a charge there and he can't go back.
They already know he's a scoundrel.
Yeah. But Toadvine already has a plan for getting out. And for this next bit, I have to do a little bit of history.
Okay.
This takes place in 1849. Mexico, as well as America in this time, had a Native American problem. And one of the solutions that were implemented for this problem was bounties for scalps.
Right.
After these recent raids, the city of Chihuahua was desperate to do something about it. So they hired a gang of American scalp hunters called the Glanton Gang, ran by John Joel Glanton. So that's the historical setting here.
And that part is the factually true part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a factual Glanton gang that went around and hunted.
Because I knew the scalp hunting part, I just wasn't sure about this specific people. Okay.
So Glanton and his gang ride into the city, and they're described as vicious-looking humans bedecked in animal and human body parts.
Ooh.
And, quote, outsized and childlike with his naked face, rode the judge. So Toadvine's plan is to tell them that they're accomplished Indian fighters and that they want to join up. And this is like something normal that the gang does, is they'll go to a new place and anyone that will work for them in the gang, even if they're prisoners or anything like that, they'll just talk to whatever local magistrate or whatever is over the place and hires them out of jail.
Right. Well, we're getting them out of your hair.
Yeah, pretty much. And most likely they're going to die. So, because that's another aspect. They're always hiring because people are constantly dying. So they're released into the gang's custody, the kid, Toadvine, and a couple other guys. Glanton himself seems to not really care about like anything unless it's directly related to his job about scalp hunting. Often what happens, the judge does like any kind of negotiating that has to be done because he speaks several languages and generally can convince anyone to do what he wants. They set up a contract with the governor to hunt down the Apache and more specifically, one man named Gomez, which is another historical figure.
Oh, okay.
And he's somebody who led a lot of raids at the time.
Gotcha.
We go into chapter 7. Glanton trades some of his newly acquired finances for a new gun that he quickly turns on any nearby animal in the street. Goats, birds. He shoots a cat that just evaporates into mist.
Oh my God.
That it's so thoroughly destroyed.
Right.
And we'll see as the story goes on that as they degrade further, what little decorum that they have here at the start gets dropped over time. They begin their journey into the Mexican desert, and on their way, they come across a band of performers who wish to travel with them for a while just for protection.
Right.
Because they're a big group of men with guns. So they're just like, this is probably safer than just traveling alone. They do a whole performance and even tell people's fortunes. The story also carries big themes on destiny and astrology throughout.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion, all it does is just add to the mystique of the story and forecast a few events.
Right.
Like, for instance, the kid draws the Four of Cups when they're telling these fortunes. And in an earlier scene, when he's at one of these church full of dead people, he sees the Four of Cups pasted on a church wall.
Oh.
According to Wikipedia, the Four of Cups tends to represent an apathy, disinterest, or contemplation that is misaligned.
Huh.
In the image, the character is sitting in consideration over the cups before them, but is oblivious to the cup being offered. It shows a lack of appreciation for gifts and opportunities. Dismissiveness, complacency, and a lack of growth are being warned against.
Oh.
And after reading the entire story, this fits the kid to a T.
Right.
And at the end of the story, he's accused by another character that he wasn't truly devoted to the gang and wasn't growing in that way. And his unwillingness to dance, as we'll find out, is what kills him. So even as early as the first third of the book, we're given a forecast about how the story will end.
Okay.
That is, if you know anything about tarot.
Okay.
Or care enough to look into it.
Right. So for other people, it's all surprise because they didn't know what Four of Cups meant.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what Four of Cups.
I would never get it. First time I read it, I didn't even think to look at it because it's just in a midst of other shit I had to Google.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on top of the fact that you would also have to translate it from Spanish because these characters that are doing these fortunes are Spanish and they're speaking Spanish.
Oh, wow.
So that's why a lot of this book is just hard to read, even if you discard like the horrific content and the awfulness of the characters. You're met with an impenetrable wall of detail that may or may not matter.
Right.
Because generally, a lot of the, other than, like forecasting some stuff, the astrology stuff doesn't really seem to matter because there's also a scene earlier that brings up like some shooting stars called the Leonids or something, or an astrological body called the Leonids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's about.
Huh.
So, in my opinion, this is why no one can agree on what this book is really about. In a weird way, this book, like the Bible, is kind of a mirror.
Oh, people see what they want in it?
Yeah, it's got so much shit packed into it, and it's written vaguely enough that the only parts that are going to appear to you are limited by what you already know and your own interpretation.
Right.
So the story doesn't really enrich you in any way. It just funhouse mirrors your own shit back at you.
Yeah.
Is how I feel about this. And that's why I haven't been able to make any progress with this fucker, because then I think, isn't that true about just anything you read? And then I get caught in an introspection loop for like a couple of days and I completely lose my train of thought and I have to start over.
And this one has layers of nihilism and critique of mankind and the human condition.
And is generally, in my opinion, just kind of damaging to read.
Which is why you've read it, 6 times at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else Funhouse mirrors shit back at you?
Those rooms at the circus where it makes you look tall and thin.
And that's who's advertising for us this week. The circus. Ads. Hello, bad book loving friends. Just updating our socials. We're on Blue Sky now at bugs-bibliorex.bsky.social. We have a Substack at Bugs and Books, and the profile name is Bugs at BiblioWrecks. And of course, our website, BiblioWrecks.com. Drop us a message and check out the content that Bugs works on. She's really good at the social stuff. And let's get back to that bad book.
And we're back, and I accepted candy from a clown, so I'm gonna die. No, it was just a cough drop. I'm fine.
Oh, that's good.
Hopefully I sound a little better now.
Yeah, it was a very helpful clown.
Yes.
So, now that we've taken a break and I've vented a little bit, the next day the gang and a few members have picked up an old Comanche woman from a camp 8 miles away. Glanton walks up to the old woman. Quote, "The woman looked up, neither courage nor heart sank in those old eyes. He pointed with his left hand, and she turned to follow his hand with her gaze, and he put the pistol to her head and fired."
Jeez.
Yeah, it's almost like whimsical. I don't know how you would describe it, because he's just taking his hand and like kind of just distracting her. Like if this was like a kid shooting you with an airsoft gun, that would be a really clever trick, but it's awful.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of...
That's treating her like she's an animal, basically.
Yeah. That's how these characters treat Native American people.
Yeah.
So that's being presented pretty well.
I thought they picked her up for some reason.
Yeah, that.
Just to kill her so they can scalp her?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were like wanting information or something from.
No.
Oh.
None of them speak Comanche anyway. Besides that, she's a Comanche and they were contracted to go after Apaches.
Can they tell?
Nope.
Because the scalps look the same?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
And that's a theme for later in the story.
So they're just going to kill anyone with dark hair, basically?
Yeah,
Wow.
eventually.
Jeez.
And after he shoots her, he then calls for someone to, quote, get that receipt for us.
Which is the scalp.
Mm-hmm. And this is the moment when the kid learns what the gang does for money.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know how much you love Lonesome Dove?
Mm-hmm.
But I saw the people who got scalped in that movie when I was about 4 years old.
Yeah.
And that was pretty goddamn traumatizing when I was a small kid.
That was a horrific looking scene, so.
Because they look horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. Like, it is one of the most degrading things you can do to somebody, it seems like, after they're dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's up there with dismembering or...
I mean, that's if you wait until they're dead.
Yeah, it's just, like, horrifically awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think on that line of thought, there is also like an inclusion at the very beginning of the story where the author includes a bit of archaeology from, I think it's in Ethiopia, where it was evidence of scalping there.
Right.
And I think what he's doing is he's just trying to show how humanity treats itself or treats other humans.
Right. That we've always been horrific and we've always done awful shit to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, accurate.
It is true, yes. Yes, it is true.
And another good example of how frustrating this writing is, I want to read this to you. Actually, I want you to read this and try to figure out who is doing what in this sentence. There's 3 people in this sentence.
Okay. Where it starts with the quotes. You put those in.
I put those in because fucking McCarthy wasn't going to put them in.
Gotcha. And people are talking or just to tell you what's happening? No, this is just
describing what's happening.
Okay.
You can read it aloud.
The black stood stripped to the waist behind the tent, and as the juggler turned with a sweep of his arm, the girl gave him a shove and he leaped from the tent and strode about with strange posturings under the lapsing flare of the torches. So there's a black man, I'm assuming man, behind the tent, and a juggler turned, and there's a girl gave him a shove. And since him a shove and he leaped, I'm guessing that would be the juggler, because the juggler would leap.
Maybe. It could also be that she's about to get caught with the black man and she's shoving him out of the tent. But it's so poorly punctuated, you can't really tell what's happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that is what's happening, is that the juggler gets pushed out, but I can't be sure because poorly done. Right.
In my mind, the black stood means he is stationary in the scene, and then the juggler is turning, which means that he is movement in the scene.
Yeah.
And a girl shoves him, so he is further moving, which means the juggler leaps from the tent and strode about with strange posturings, and a juggler from a circus would be strange looking possibly and moving around weirdly.
Yeah.
But that's just...
Yeah, it's way too much work to figure out what's happening in a scene.
Because you could just put, the girl gave blank, the black, or the juggler, a shove. And then from there, he leaped from the tent and strode about.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you don't have an active he, really. The girl is the one really doing stuff to someone else.
Yeah, because, again, this is a sentence where there are 2 he's.
Right.
And we're not sure which one we're exactly talking about.
And the fact that the author knows doesn't mean us, the reader, knows.
Yeah, because it's not being communicated to us because he's not using punctuation.
Do people who enjoy this book argue about the meaning of sentences like this? Because this does remind me of biblical stuff where you're like, I don't think that's what this means.
Yeah.
And part of our problem is we're dealing with translations of memories of dust on the wind.
Yeah. And in this, it's our interpretation of secret information that McCarthy wrote down badly.
Right.
So.
Did he deal with an editor? I can't remember if you talked about whether he had an editor.
I've never heard anything about an editor. I think he is I would assume he's so arrogant.
That he wouldn't want one.
Right.
That's the assumption, but also he must have if he worked through major publishing houses.
Maybe.
Huh.
I don't know.
Okay.
From what I can find, Cormac McCarthy's editor was a Albert Erskine Jr. who worked for Random House. There's actually a Reddit thread on our Cormac McCarthy where someone claims they have some letters between Cormac McCarthy and Albert. McCarthy is arguing about his lack of use of punctuation and a lot of his compound words. It's pretty neat.
I didn't know if he had an reputation of rejecting editors or something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Which means it's possible you don't understand anything that happened in this book. This is all a dream.
Yeah.
This is a funhouse mirror.
No. Yeah, the book is full of this. Kind of thing.
That would infuriate me.
Mm-hmm. It is infuriating a lot of the time. Now, I will say a lot of the writing is strong enough that for the most part, you know who is talking and what's happening, despite being written like this.
Right. Wow.
So that's kind of a strength, but it is also kind of weakness. Like in this particular instance, that sentence that scene is being pointed out to the kid by another character. So, and the kid is basically just an audience surrogate for the most part. Mm-hmm. So the book is saying directly to the audience, hey, look at that.
But we're not describing that.
Yeah. And it's failing to describe it in an understandable way.
Right.
And it doesn't have anything to do with my lack of classical literature, because this makes like a lot of classical literature and philosophy references.
Right.
And it's just so dense that there's no way to understand all of them, because you can just make them up and it not actually have anything to do with it. But it's written so weirdly, you could interpret it too if you wanted. But more than anything, it shows its limitation of the writing style here. And it does excellently for one person delivering a monologue, or maybe two people interacting in a scene.
Right.
But when you have three people in a sentence together, it shows its weakness. And that's usually the thing people like about this work, is the style and how he's such a good writer that it transcends the rules of writing. And, I'll give him his due. He is better at this style probably than anybody else would be. But to me, this is more akin to like cooking a 4-star meal with just using tongs instead of your hands. And it shows off incredible skill, but it's not the best way to do it. And you're never going to do it as well as if you had just used your hands.
Gotcha.
Is how I feel about this. I guess I wasn't done venting. I will make up for it by making chapter 8 one sentence.
What kind of things would you cook with your hands?
I meant like picking up a skillet using tongs.
Oh.
Is how I meant.
Because similar to this book, the interpretation of that could go a lot of different places. And I was imagining you meant like kneading bread dough or something, but I was also
that too.
That's not cooking.
That would be difficult.
But also flipping a burger with your hands would be unwise, and using tongs would be better. So I was just double checking. Yeah.
I mean, there are circumstances that this would be a really good use, like in soliloquies or just monologues and stuff like that. It's really powerful writing for that kind of thing.
Right, gotcha.
And it should be used sparingly.
Yeah.
Not as the entire fucking book.
It's the salt, not the flour.
But that's just this reporter's opinion.
Gotcha.
So chapter 8, all that happens is they pass through a place with a bar. The barman's son is sitting in the corner bleeding to death because someone stabbed him over a game of cards, and he'll die before making the trek the multiple days of travel to a doctor. So he's just sitting here in this hopeless situation, slowly dying. And it just adds to the attitude and the environment, the hopelessness of the scene, and the characters' attitude toward this injured person, and nobody bothering to offer help.
Right. Because there's not much they can do.
Right. Chapter 9. So throughout their travels from this point. They kill Native Americans indiscriminately. Apache, Comanche, whoever, because it all pays the same.
Right.
At one point, the gang kills an Apache man, and the judge takes the scalp and prides it as a trophy. And this is an interesting comparison between him and Glanton, because Glanton only sees them as receipts, and the judge is getting glory and satisfaction out of it.
Gotcha.
So kind of laying the groundwork for how the judge is. Later, they come across an abandoned presidio with injured survivors of the Apache raids. Within the group is a silent, quote, Mexican or half-breed boy of about 12 that no one knows where he came from. He's just there. I'm going to spoil a big thing in this story at this point. Throughout the story, children will just disappear, and it'll just be background noise. And not much attention is brought to it. And it's a really subtle thing, but it also happens specifically when the judge is around, usually at night. And when it does, the judge is found playing his fiddle in the nude and dancing.
Gotcha.
And in this case, the next morning, the boy is found in a stall, bodily crushed.
Ooh.
And there's not many people that can do that except a 7-foot-tall, 350-pound man.
Which the judge is?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember you describing him physically.
I did, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was when he walked into the tent. He was something like 7-foot-tall, 350 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, he's also described as like weirdly childlike because he's hairless, like completely hairless.
Oh, this is the guy who was hairless. Okay.
Yeah, he's the one that was fucking with Reverend Green.
Okay.
Yeah. Same guy as earlier in the story.
Gotcha.
And amongst the group, the judge has a reputation for being everywhere and knowing everything and everyone. Like, he knows all these languages. He knows obscure historical facts. In Chapter 10, one of the characters, a former priest named Tobin, is talking to the kid about how they, as a group, found the judge. The company had shut up all their gunpowder at Native American people and were on the run from them. In the desert, on a rock as if waiting, sat the judge with his rifle. He told them he fell out with a wagon train and just set off on his own. The priest says about Glanton and the judge, quote, Glanton just studied him. They've a secret commerce, some terrible covenant. The judge mounted up and he and Glanton rode side by side and soon they was conversing like brothers. And while traveling through the story, the judge picks up certain substances or rocks that are just around, seemingly random stuff. The judge leads them to a burned-out volcano. The natives getting hotter on their trail all the time. Once there, the judge combines some rocks from the volcano and the other various substances he picked up, and then tells the men to piss on the concoction. Piss for their lives.
Okay.
And after molding the piss ball for some time, voila, gunpowder.
Okay.
And then they shoot all their pursuers to death. I don't know how true it is that you can make gunpowder like this out of the ingredients that are listed.
It's creative.
It is creative. But most of the places that I've looked online that people are talking about it seem to think it's a viable option, I guess.
Okay.
But I'll go ahead and give McCarthy some leeway there because it doesn't really matter for this story whether that is accurate. What matters is that this is a reference.
Oh. What?
Yeah, again, it's a very obscure reference. It's a reference to Paradise Lost.
I haven't read that one.
I haven't either. I don't think most people have read the things that McCarthy read to get his inspirations for this book.
I know when I was younger, I intended to read Paradise Lost, but I didn't get around to it.
Yeah. Like another one is, I've heard people tell that there are a lot of references to Nietzsche in this, but I haven't
read Nietzsche either.
I don't know shit about Nietzsche, and I don't think I care. But according to other people, I think it's so stupid for someone to be required to read dozens and dozens of other books to be able to understand the references that are in one book.
I mean, that is just kind of how culture works, though.
Yeah, like I get, like, but it shouldn't require it. Like, the references can be there, and if you recognize them, great. But it seems like there is a requirement for some amount of understanding of Nietzsche to understand the greater themes that are going on here.
I guess that's the difference between, say, this author and Terry Pratchett.
Mm-hmm.
In the Terry Pratchett novels, if you don't get the references, you still get a good, fun story.
Yeah. And if you don't get them here, you're fucking lost.
Yeah.
And McCarthy doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like you have a solid narrative beneath the references.
But yeah, this is a reference to Paradise Lost because the character that gives a speech, very similar to the judges, is Satan, giving it while doing functionally the same thing, making a cannon out of soil.
Huh.
So that's the reference. And in this particular reference, Judge Holden, which is, his last name, I can't remember if I've used it.
Right.
Judge Holden is in the place of Satan in this reference.
Huh.
And again, that's a continuing theme.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, the baseline interpretation most people get is that Judge Holden is Satan. But then there's other people who try to make this like a sort of like Gnostic text and makes him the demiurge, and that's a whole nother thing.
Is it the idea that we don't have God, but we do have demons?
No.
I felt like that was kind of Stephen King's world, was you would have demons and devils, but you didn't have a God or angels to save you.
Yeah, I think that's what the story is doing. But a lot of people will also add in their own interpretation because they think the judge is an example of the demiurge. And the demiurge is basically the Old Testament God, but it's like a flawed, broken God.
Right.
And is like a lesser deity compared to the omni-God.
Okay. Yes. I get where you're coming from now, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother thing, and I think that interpretation is stupid because we've got a direct reference in this scene that the judge is just the devil.
Right. Okay.
And I think to look further than that and interpret past that, I think is just kind of dumb. But that's just me. So that's the story that Tobin tells the kid. And they continue traveling, and I can't emphasize enough like how good McCarthy is at describing scenery. Quote, lodged in faults and crevices, 100 feet above them were nests of straw and jetsam from old high waters, and the riders could hear the mutter of thunder in some nameless distance, and they kept watch on the narrow shape of sky overheard for any darkness of impending rain, threading the canyon's close-pressed flanks, and the dry white rocks of the dead river floor, round and smooth as arcane eggs. It's a very interesting description.
Very atmospheric.
Mm-hmm. And as they travel and the scenery changes, he continues describing it and adds little tidbits of history. Even the human constructions that they come across like meld into the scenery. Mm-hmm. And it's not like a sharp transition between nature and human settlement. And I think that is also kind of purposeful. And it's just another part of the geography. And this, I think, helps reinforce the subtle narrative that humans are just animals and just another part of nature.
Right.
And that's important to bring up for this chapter especially. They camp out in a canyon that had been carved out by the ancestral Pueblo people. Mm-hmm. The judge spends the whole day there studying the ruins, and later at the campfire, one man asks him what kind of Indians was here. They must have been passable Masons. The ones that are here now sure ain't. I'm paraphrasing this because just in this short bit, the guy says the N-word like 4 times.
Ah, yes.
This book has like no qualms about slurs and horrible words like that, which in period pieces like this is generally permissible.
Right.
Except that in this book, it's not limited to dialogue.
Oh, okay. That's not cool.
Yeah, that's the difference. For comparison, Lonesome Dove, nearly every character, good or bad, uses that kind of language, but it's limited to the dialogue. The text itself, the narration never says it.
Right. That is because the narrative is the voice of the author. And if the voice of the author is calling them the N-word, that's not cool.
Yeah, and the voice of the author is calling the Native Americans savages and red N-words.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, the guy's asking
he's racist against black people and red people, but he also just fucking hates white people too. They all suck. He just hates everybody.
Yeah, kind of.
Equal opportunity hates humans.
Well, I think that's a pretty good description of McCarthy. I think he's one of those people that thinks he's above like social politics and stuff like that, and just above politics in general.
Facts, don't care about your feelings.
Yes. So again, I think he's just kind of a douchebag.
Yeah.
So the guy is asking the judge about these ruins, and the judge, for some reason, decides to explain about the ruins in the form of a story.
Okay.
And this is the story. A harness maker lived with his wife and children near the Federal Road. Business was scarce, so he disguised himself as an indigenous person and begged from travelers. One day, he encountered a young man who recognized his deception and rebuked him. The harness maker, seemingly repentant, invites him to dinner. After supper, the traveler generously gave him coins, but also criticizes his greed and urged him to live a more righteous life. Moved to repent, the harness maker accompanies the traveler down the road and gives a goodbye. Except he doesn't go home. The harness maker follows him into a dark wooded stretch of road, kills him with a rock, robs him, and buries him in a shallow grave. He returns home injured and claims that they had been attacked by robbers and the traveler was dead. The harness maker never harms anyone again. Near death, he confesses the murder to his son, who says he forgave him. After his father's death, however, the son reveals his envy of the dead traveler and destroys the grave, scattering the traveler's bones before heading west, where he himself became a murderer of men.
And this is describing the masonry of this area.
Allegedly. And like all the other people in the story besides Judge Holden are just kind of uneducated rubes. So I'm imagining they completely forgot what the original question was.
That's why everyone thinks the judge is so smart. When they actually ask him about something that he pretends to know, he just gives them a bullshit story.
Yeah, just distraction.
Yep, jingly keys.
But that's not the end of the story. The traveler left behind a pregnant bride whose son will grow up never knowing his father because the father died and his flaws were no longer seen. The son inherits an impossible ideal of perfection because a man is meant to witness his father's weaknesses and surpass him. Yet this son is denied that true inheritance. Instead, the world presents him with a false heroic image that he can never equal. The father's death has cheated him of an honest legacy, leaving him spiritually lost, broken before a cold and unreachable ideal. We're getting to where we're relating to the local architecture.
Okay. Now this is biblical. Jesus, what should we do with the poor? Blah, 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 blah. Funny story.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the judge is kind of anti-Jesus, so... Basically, the judge is saying the ancestral Puebloans are the traveler, and by making monuments in stone that last longer than themselves, they've given the modern occupants a unachievable standard. He then asks which son has more of a disadvantage in life. The ex-priest says he thinks that they are both equally disadvantaged. So what is the way of raising a child, he asks. And then the judge just kind of goes hog wild. I don't know what he's talking about exactly here. Quote, "At a young age," said the judge, "they should be put in a pit with wild dogs. They should be set to puzzle out from their proper clues the one of 3 doors that does not harbor wild lions. If God meant to interfere in the degeneracy of mankind, would he not have done so by now? Wolves call themselves man. What other creature could? And is the race of man not more predacious yet? The way of the world is to bloom and to flower and die, but in the affairs of men there is no waning, and the noon of his expression signals the onset of night. His spirit is exhausted at the peak of its achievement. His meridian is at once his darkening and the evening of his day." Do you want to read that one and try to puzzle out that one?
It feels like he's saying, what's the point of raising kids to be civilized since we have society, but we're not so civilized?
Yeah, basically.
What does the word meridian mean?
I threw my phone too far away.
You could have said it on silent.
I forgot to.
You better leave this part in.
I'm a fool and I deserve to be punished.
Mock him. Laugh at him.
Not calculator. What am I doing? I'm brain dead.
Because I know the name of the book is Blood Meridian.
I feel like that's another thing I've Googled in the past, but I can't remember.
It feels like a vaguely familiar word, but I don't know.
Yeah. The definition that's given is a circle of constant longitude passing through a given place on the Earth's surface. And I feel like it's a more poetic use of meridian than the literal definition.
It's what?
Hold on.
It doesn't mean the center of the Earth. It's a placement of on the outside.
In this specific instance, it's the person's meridian.
Right.
So his middle line.
Like his navel? Is this another word for navel gazing? Because that would be hilarious.
I mean, that is what this book is just a book of navel gazing. Yeah, it's a blood navel gazing. That's the updated title of this book.
Okay. And look, I have read a lot of books.
Mm-hmm.
I have read historical literature. I am lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I think that's how us rubes is supposed to feel reading this.
Maybe we should have someone on with an English degree, because if they don't get it, then we're justified in being.
Even the people who do get it, they still have this problem of interpretation, and everyone's just going to interpret it differently.
Yeah, I guess so.
So my interpretation is just as valid as anyone else's.
That is true. And this is just opinion only, so it's not like it matters.
And I'm going to make all the McCarthy fanboys all pissed off on the internet, the bunch of incels. The judge is like the only character in this book that speaks like this.
Right, which makes him feel like he is
kind of a Jesus analog.
Yeah, he's a symbolic character.
Mm-hmm.
And he's given the name the judge.
Yeah, I don't know. But he is a devout follower of the religion of war.
Huh.
And he believes that war is the greatest achievement humanity can aspire to. Absent a god, all that's left in his opinion is war.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously I find this repugnant. This character is literally a caricature. No one could really think along these lines. Right?
Well,
right?
No, I mean, there's a lot of humanity who's insane.
Yeah. In an interview with Richard Woodward from New York Times after the book's release, I found an excerpt that kind of chilled me when I first read it, and especially when I think of it in this context. Woodward says, "The book explores the nature of evil and the allure of violence. Page after page, it presents the regular and often senseless slaughter that went on among white, Hispanic, and Indian groups. There are no heroes in this vision of the American frontier." McCarthy replies, "There's no such thing as life without bloodshed," McCarthy says philosophically. "I think the notion that the species can be improved in some way, that everyone could live in harmony, is a really dangerous idea. Those who are afflicted with this notion are the first ones to give up their souls, their freedom. Your desire that it be that way will enslave you and make your life vacuous."
Pointless.
Yeah, basically saying life is pointless unless someone else is being infringed upon. That is a hot take.
Huh. Like primitive humans who were always in small bands fighting each other is what humanity is, and to think we're different is wrong?
Yeah. He says it is a dangerous thing. And I think it's kind of the conservative outlook of giving away your freedoms for safety.
Yeah.
And basically trying to live harmoniously and live with other people is tantamount to losing your humanity, is his idea, I think, which is pretty fucking gross.
This is just bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, that is just a really bizarre...
It's an alien way of thinking,
That's
I think.
Like those people who think, I'm an island, I can prep, and I'll be a prepper and survive on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just stupidity.
It's education that has...
This is Ayn Rand, but Wild West.
Yeah, it really is. Because it's like circled around, because he's a conservative, but he's such a bizarrely different conservative than most people. Because usually people's conservatism is, a lot of it is deep-seated in lack of understanding and, a lack of education a lot of the times. This guy has educated himself into thinking this way.
But he's also dealing with the really intense nihilism of everyone is just savage. Everyone is.
Yeah. And it's a really bleak outlook. And I think that is another...
He's anti-democracy, right? Doesn't one of his characters believe that, like, the Mexicans shouldn't rule themselves?
Yeah, but...
Was he agreeing with that stance?
I don't know. I don't think so. Okay. Because the story paints that character out to be kind of a fool.
Oh, okay.
And is just kind of an idiot. So I don't know that McCarthy would paint his own opinion on someone who was clearly being shown as a moron.
Right. Because I've known people who were monarchists who believed it was sinful and wrong for America to declare independence. And they believed we should still be under the English king or queen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those people are anti-democracy. And I don't think they voted.
Yeah.
But they believed in the right of kings. And if a king said so, it was God's ordained will because God is the one who creates kings.
Yeah.
There are people who genuinely still believe those things, even here in America.
Yeah. I mean, in this case, it's not really
it's not political.
A God-ordained, well, it's might makes right in philosophical terms.
Right.
And it's just kind of zhuzhed up in this way.
Because we're not, like, making political, like, this party versus that party. He's making a stand on just humanity as a total.
Yeah. But this is just one quote from McCarthy because he led an intensely private life. And this is one of the few interviews he did. So I also can't find the broader context of it.
Right.
Because that interview is behind a paywall.
Okay.
So it may not be totally appropriate to connect these two ideas.
Right. Well,
but I
as
think
he shows,
on their
context
own,
isn't always helpful with this man.
But I think even just on their own, I think it's gross enough. But it's also hard to interpret whether or not he thinks along the same lines as the judge.
Right.
And whether this is like an ideal that he himself holds or something. Right. Or if this is just a villain character that has an idea. Because the judge's philosophical views in the story are the only ones that are really talked about. And we're not giving like an antithesis idea. We're not giving like anything to ideologically combat the judge's ideas with.
And even the story itself doesn't prove him wrong, does it?
No. If anything, the story at the end enforces it.
Right. So the story, it's because you could have a man and a philosophy, but then the story proves him wrong, and you don't have to have a verbal, laid out anti-philosophy arguing against what he's saying.
Yeah.
You could just have the story prove him wrong or short-sighted or misdirected or whatever. But if the book is reinforcing what the judge is saying, I would assume that is the point that the author is making.
Yeah. So unless it's subverting it in a much more subtle way than I can understand, I don't know of one. I think the end of the story is just reinforcing it.
Right. And kind of the point of our podcast is neither of us have an English degree. Neither of us have been, schooled in literature. So if you have two fairly normal people who have kind of different backgrounds with media and books, how would they react to this story as it is without a handful of encyclopedias, dictionaries, and a librarian at hand?
Right.
You can't ask us to be more subtle and nuanced than what we're given in the text.
Right. So, yeah. This next section I'm going to make very short. The Glang Gang finds an Apache camp of warriors and old people and women and children.
Oh, boy.
In fact, it's just a handful of warriors, and it's mostly old people, women, and children.
Because it's a couple people to defend all of the old people and children.
Yep, all those receipts sitting on the heads of non-combatants.
Oh, boy.
And it is a wholesale...
But don't you know they're military age boys?
And they were planning a military. They were conducting military.
So grow into future terrorists. That's why we must kill all of the 8-year-old babies. That 3-year-old starving to death. They could grow up to hate us.
Oh God.
Moving on.
Moving on. It is a wholesale slaughter from a nightmare is how this is described.
Yeah.
And at the end, actually before the end, during it, Glanton is watching all of this slaughter happening. He's just kind of standing there. And he's had a dog throughout the story.
Uh-huh.
And he's seeing all of these people dying and getting murdered horribly. And he's just like, where's my dog? So
Yeah.
it would be funny if it wasn't so terrible. Like there's a kind of black humor to it.
Yeah. That's like something that would happen in The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's Captain Liberty or whoever, I cannot remember the name of him.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The red, white, and blue guy.
Yeah.
But him just watching murder, like civilians dying en masse, and he's like, I'm a little hungry.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
want a
kind of
glass of
that. But at the end of the battle, there is a single child left
Oh my God.
that the gang takes in and plays with, and they feed him and give him a blanket to sleep with.
Till the judge gets a hold of him.
And the next day, Toadvine, the asshole character that, will just go out of his way to murder people,
Mm-hmm.
walks by and sees the judge playing with the child on his knee.
Mm-hmm.
But when he comes back 10 minutes later, the child is dead.
Oh my God.
And the judge is scalping it.
Oh my God.
And this makes Toadvine mad enough that he points his pistol at the judge's head.
Yeah.
Which, under any other circumstance, I would agree with and applaud. But at this point, we just finished reading a section about people doing much worse things to infants and children already. So why is this suddenly awful enough to merit this reaction from Toadvine?
I don't know, but it does.
Yeah.
It just feels...
It feels different because,
I think it's because of your lying.
Hmm.
When you're
Yeah,
walking into
it's
this
misleading.
camp, when you're walking into this camp, you're just like, yeah, I'm here to fucking kill all of you people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to stab and murder all of you. But then you take this kid and you play with him. And suddenly...
And it becomes human.
No, it's because you're lying to him.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling him you're safe.
Yeah.
You're telling him that he's okay. But he's not.
Yeah.
It was like in Hogfather where that the guy on the cart was driving them into that spot and he's like, no, it'll be okay. If you don't help me, I'll kill you. If you do help me, you'll just lose your job.
Mm-hmm.
But he kills him anyway.
Yeah.
It's that we have a human rule
Mm-hmm.
of if we say your money or your life, we don't take your wallet and then stab you.
Mm-hmm.
And people who break that rule
Are worse.
are worse.
Yeah.
Those are the worst people.
Man, I knew we shouldn't have done a Terry Pratchett book. We're just going to become a Terry Pratchett podcast now.
I'm sure we've made references to him in the past.
You've made references to it 3 times this episode.
No.
Which I don't blame you. It's a good thing to reference. I enjoy referencing Terry Pratchett.
I've also been I have listened to so many Terry Pratchett books this last 2 weeks.
Yeah, me too. It's just because we had done the episode, so that's all I can think about now.
No, I listened to Thud and Snuff, Making Money, Going Postal, Weird Sisters, and I started reading Interesting Times with my son, and I've been talking about all of the Tiffany Aching books with him.
Yeah, and you did the episode of Hogfather.
And that's aside from Hogfather.
Yeah. And I recently read Men at Arms, Guards, and...
I did listen to Guards too, yes.
Yeah. And, Monstrous Regiment?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, my brain is just full of Terry
Yeah, we have to go
now.
back to the genocide slaughter.
But in Terry Pratchett...
No. So Toadvine has this gun pointed at the judge, and he ultimately doesn't shoot him because the judge is just like, you either shoot me now or you take that gun away.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't. But yeah, just the attempt itself is strange to me, kind of. I understand the distinction we talked about.
It's the social contract.
Yeah.
But then he himself is a coward and a bully.
Yeah.
Which is where he only does violence, is when he can get away with bullying somebody else.
So after their genocide and mutilation and slaughter, they ride into Chihuahua City to a hero's welcome.
Oh boy. Look how many children you murdered. Yay.
Yay. So this is probably a good place to break up the episodes for now.
That means we're only halfway done.
Yep.
Oh my God, you're going to kill me.
This is why we laid out a whole day for this.
This is why I got up early to do this. Yeah, you're right.
So that I could make your day worse.
Well, at least it's only one day.
Yeah.
You were wanting to do this over days, and I was like, no.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to give us a break because I wasn't sure that this part wasn't going to take 3 hours instead of just 2.
Right. That is true.
So, if you enjoyed this and enjoy us, like, comment, subscribe, check us out on...
Give us a quick preview of what we can expect in the next episode so that people will decide whether or not they want to listen to the second half.
Next episode is more of the same, except it's going to be more about the morality that is going on in the story and much less about the structure of the story itself.
Okay.
Because I feel like we've pretty well laid that out. And now we can just kind of run with it from here.
Okay. So we're just what happens to the boy, the kid, and the judge, and these people and all the awful shit they do.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So.
If you're, what's this author's name? McCormac McCarthy?
Cormac McCarthy, yeah.
Cormac McCarthy. If you're a Cormac McCarthy stan...
Fuck you.
Share this with your friends so that they'll listen to it and they'll hate us, because all the listens boost our number.
Yeah.
And if you get all of these references and you're a pretentious snob, just don't tell us.
Now, go in the comments and I'll read them and I'll argue with you and tell you you're wrong. And there's no way to tell who's right because Cormac McCarthy's dead, so nah.
It's all just opinions and perspective, and
your perspective.
This is just dark.
Yeah, if you like this book, your perspective is valid. I just disagree, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Interesting. Yeah, follow us on Blue Sky. We have a Reddit community, r/BiblioWrecks. You can email us at bibliowrecks@gmail.com, biblioWrecks@gmail.com. I appreciate the Reddit messages and comments and suggestions. Those are very, very helpful. We're going to come back and do this in about 20 minutes, but you'll get to listen to us in a little while.
Yeah.
Bad advice. Read this book and enjoy it. That's my bad advice.
Yeah, that's pretty bad advice. Don't even go for it like going for any kind of experience. Just reading it is bad advice.
Bye.
Bye.